everyone, and welcome to our final Humans of CSU show this semester. I'm Mattison Brumagim.
And I'm Aspen Flores. I can't believe how fast the school year has gone by, but tonight we don't have a second to waste. Starting off, for our topic of the month, we will learn more about Native American Heritage Month with an interview from CSU's Native American Cultural Center.
We also have Who Are You at CSU, where I take to the plaza to hear some fun answers about Thanksgiving festivities. And stay with us later to hear from two Ram Handlers about what their experiences are like.
And to wrap things up, we have special guests here in the studio, including an Astronaut Scholarship recipient and members from the CSU chapter of the Wildlife Society.
All that and more right here at CTV. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear November? Well, for us here at Humans of CSU, we thought of National Native American Heritage Month. I sat down with Native American Culture Center employee Nizoni Hatch, and she shared with me why it is important to her that others acknowledge and understand her Native identity and what that truly means.
Native American identity is something that has been a conflict internally my whole life. I was born in Denver, Colorado, and then I lived on the Navajo Nation for a year. And when I lived there, I understood what Native community felt like. I understood what it felt like to be connected to traditions and heritage and to feel supported and embraced. And then I moved back to Denver in Lakewood, Colorado, and lived in a white suburban school where I was the only student of color. I was the only Indigenous woman. I didn't look like anybody else, and I got made fun of for that. It made me embarrassed of who I was.
Learning from Hatch about her experience as a Native was eye-opening. She explained to me how to learn who Natives are and what it means to be Native.
If you listen to Native people and ask them who they are outside of this checkbox of Native identity, ask them what they like to do, ask them what their favorite food is, ask them what they want to do in school. That's what it means to be Native. And I want every student of color, every Indigenous woman, every minority out there to know that just by existing, you are resilient and you are showing that we are here and that we are strong, and that's in our blood.
Although November is Native American Cultural Month, it's important to pay attention to Native history, heritage, and people all months throughout the year. Thanksgiving is coming up, and it is vital for everyone to consider Native American history during this time and make an effort to learn more. Speaking of history, there's one particular CSU tradition that includes our very own Cam the Ram. Stay tuned after the break to find out more.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Here at CSU, there are over 150 years of traditions, but perhaps one of the most loved is Cam the Ram, whose name comes from CSU's previous title of Colorado Agricultural and Mechanical College. You might see Cam walking around with this troop of Ram Handlers at university events, and if it isn't clear, he's a bit of a celebrity. This past weekend, I got to follow the Ram Handlers around and learn more about what they do. So let's check it out.
Good boy! Since Cam made his first debut, he's captured the hearts of many people, especially the Ram Handlers who escort him at every event in style.
I was actually in marching band my first semester, so I went to all of the home games and I saw Cam at all of these games, and every time I saw him, it would really just make my night. After that first semester, I decided I didn't want to be in marching band anymore, but I still really want to be involved with, the Spirit Squad. I just remember Cam and I love seeing him, and I loved seeing how he would just make people's nights, and that was something that I wanted to be a part of. So I decided to put in an application to be a Ram Handler. As a Ram Handler, we train with him and we go to different events with him, and then we take him out to meet the public. To train Cam, we actually use something called positive reinforcement, and that is all choice-based. So we give Cam the option to go walk with us or take photos, and if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't have to do it. So everything is up to him, really, and by using positive reinforcement, we're able to build a really strong connection with him so that he trusts us and he is really excited to do all of these things like go to football games and meet people.
1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Being a Ram handler, we have a lot of different responsibilities. So we get to prep him for events, but we also act as his bodyguards. So we work with the general public, making sure that he's safe and everyone else around him is in a welcoming environment. And so we work a lot with the Alumni Association and students in general. So it's been really awesome getting to meet new people. Cam is a huge part of the traditions here at CSU because he has been a mascot for so many years, and it's just been a great opportunity to see how much Cam means to the university and how much he means to the students.
Eventually, the Ram Handler roles will get passed on to the next class of students, and both Kira and Brooke have a few words to anyone wishing to join the Ram Handler team.
People can get involved by just applying to be a part of it. I think a lot of people, they like to apply because they like working with animals, and they forget that a lot of our job is actually working with other people and getting to meet people in our community. And that's actually one of my favorite parts of the job, is getting to meet alum and getting to meet their families and other people and seeing how much he means to people. We have a lot of different majors represented on our team, so I would highly recommend anybody who wants to apply to just send in an application.
Being a Ram handler is super awesome and an amazing experience. So you get to meet new people and be like a spirit squad for the university. Getting to work with Cam has been one of the best opportunities I've had on campus.
I'm curious, what was the coolest part about making that video?
I think just getting to follow the Ram handlers around for a while. This is a tradition that I've seen at CSU all the years I've been here, and I think it was just really cool to get to see what they do and really see what it's like to be a Ram handler, because we focus on Cam a lot all the time, but it's nice to see like what the Ram handlers do, because it's a big part of keeping that tradition alive here.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know any of that being a transfer student, so I'm glad that we got to see it and we got to share it.
Yeah, and if you didn't get your fill of Cam the Ram after listening to the Ram handlers, look out for more photos of our beloved mascot from Gregory James and the CSU Collegian. We'll be back here in a minute with Kori Eliaz, the Astronaut Scholarship recipient.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, a fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Going Rams, we're back with a special guest who wasn't afraid to reach for the stars. Because of her out-of-this-world curiosity and love for space, Kori was granted the honor of receiving an astronaut scholarship among many other achievements. So, how are you doing, Kori?
Mattison, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm so excited to have you here. So, I just want to start by you introducing yourself and what you do at CSU.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Kori Eliaz, obviously. I go to CSU as a senior right now in electrical engineering with a focus on aerospace. And I am just super passionate about space. Honestly, it all started when I was a kid, reading a lot of science fiction novels and watching movies and just asking questions about, like, where do we come from? What's beyond Earth? And so throughout the years, I've found amazing opportunities available to interested college students and just tried to take advantage of as many as I could.
Well, that is all amazing, and I absolutely love that for you. I like space myself. Where did your passion for deep space exploration come from?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, a lot of reading and movies and just asking questions. I mean, it's always been a big topic of interest for me. and just always the curiosity. You know, it's an industry that really embraces who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. Everyone around the world is united in our passion for trying to discover more about the universe. And I just want to know that what I do in life is going to make a difference. And that's really where I think the passion comes from.
Well, that's amazing. I absolutely love that goal for you. So speaking of what you want to do in life, what do you do as an electrical engineering major?
Yeah, so electrical engineering is one of the most fascinating topics I think ever. It's extremely diverse. There are so many different ways you can go. But specifically as an electrical engineering major with an interest in aerospace, I get to do a lot of flight software. So I use languages like C and C++ to write code that actually fly on spacecraft and operate them. And I also get to work on digital circuits, so you can do digital, you can do analog design for circuits that also fly on those spacecraft and command them.
Wow, that sounds like nothing I can do. So what does winning this scholarship mean to you?
Yeah, this scholarship was absolutely life-changing, honestly. It meant so much because it started with the Mercury 7 astronauts, and they came back from their mission and just decided that they wanted to reward students for going above and beyond in pursuit of their educational and career goals. And when I was even nominated for this by my professors, I was just beyond myself because I'm from community college, like I'm a non-traditional student, a transfer student. I didn't think I was ever, you know, eligible for something like this. So when I was nominated and then when I was awarded, it just really kind of validated all of the effort that I've put into trying to make a difference, even at this point in my life, and I hope that I can continue to do that.
Yeah, I love that. Going off of what you said, being a transfer student, if you had advice for someone who is wanting to also reach for the stars and follow their dreams, but they felt like they were being held back financially, what would you tell them?
I mean, there is no substitute for passion, honestly. I mean, I have struggled through a lot of really interesting and hard times. I've also been very fortunate and very lucky, and one thing that's stayed constant throughout the ups and downs of life is just the passion for what you do. So never give up, never tell yourself that you can't do it, because you are amazing and you're worth it, and all of the love that you have for what you do every day is going to propel you to new heights. So I always say the sky is not the limit, and I really try to live by that.
I love that. I'm going to steal your motto. Your story is so inspiring, and I appreciate the time you have taken to talk with me. We're going to take a quick break, Rams, but when we get back, Aspen is going to talk with 2 members of the Wildlife Society. All this and more after the break.
Queen is just my everything. Right now, I wouldn't know where my life would be without her.
They say chivalry's dead. It's not. Terrence is a gentleman. He opens doors. His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. It takes me to a place of no hope. It takes me to a place of loneliness. It saddens me. When you discriminate against somebody in housing, where do these people go? Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
Welcome back, Rams. Tonight we're joined by the President and Vice President of the CSU chapter of the Wildlife Society, and they're here to tell us more about their club and their experiences. Remy and Morgan, how are you?
Doing great. It's good to be here.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you both could make it tonight. Do you want to just start off by introducing yourselves and kind of what you do here at CSU?
I'm Remy Patton. I'm a senior here at CSU, and I am a fisheries, wildlife, and conservation biology major concentrating in wildlife biology.
Yeah, so I'm Morgan Hertel. I'm the Vice President for the Wildlife Society, and I'm a 5th-year student, double majoring in ecosystem science and sustainability, and then also in fish, wildlife, and conservation biology.
Great. Do you want to talk a little more about like your role in the club and then kind of what you get to do?
Yeah, I am the president of the chapter, and so I get to talk to a lot of folks, send a lot of emails. Whenever I go to conferences, I get to represent my chapter and CSU within the Wildlife Society, and it's a ton of fun.
Yeah, and so as the vice president, I'm in charge of deciding who comes and talks to the chapter, so I get to reach out to people and ask them to share their experiences with us at our biweekly meetings, and then I just try to set up fun events. So yesterday, for example, we had a trivia and movie night, which was really fun. So that's what I do.
Yeah, that trivia movie night sounds really fun. So now that we kind of know more about what you do and like your roles here with the Wildlife Society, do you want to explain a little more about what the Wildlife Society actually is?
Yeah, the Wildlife Society is an international organization of wildlife professionals and enthusiasts. There's biologists, park rangers, students, photographers, politicians that are part of this, and they all get together to share research, jobs, create projects, even pass laws sometimes, and as a student chapter, we're introducing students to that network.
Yeah, so one of our main goals as the Wildlife Society student chapter is to sort of connect, up-and-coming wildlife professionals to that really broad profession. So we're getting them engaged in the Colorado State Wildlife Agency, CPW, or like the Denver Zoo, or just whatever wildlife stuff they're interested in. We're helping get them connected to that.
That all sounds great. It sounds like with the Wildlife Society, you all do a lot of different things. What's one of your favorite things you've done, like either your activities or just kind of something you're proud of from the Wildlife Society?
I guess I can answer that first. So we actually just announced yesterday we have a scholarship, and we are partnering with Knowles, which is the National Outdoor Leadership School. So we are paying for 2 of our members to get their Wilderness First Aid certification. And it just really sets people apart in any field related to being outside or natural resources. So we're really excited to have this scholarship for our members.
Yeah, and me personally, I love engaging people. I love talking to people. And March of 2020, for the World End, we got the opportunity to participate in a student chapter conclave where we got to go down to St. George, Utah with a bunch of the other student chapters within the central United States. And we got to camp with them, hang out. We got to do a bunch of different wildlife practices, from mist netting and radio telemetry tracking and electrofishing and all that. And we got to see how other chapters work and what they do, what they're up to, and just how different it could be being a student of wildlife, in other parts of the U.S.
Based off what you said, it sounds like there's a lot of great hands-on opportunities for students, and it sounds like you all do a lot. So what would you say to people who want to join the Wildlife Society and kind of be a part of all of this?
Yeah, I would say that we have something for everyone. So if you're interested in working for a government agency, we can help you get started on that. If you're interested in like a specific species and doing research with that, we can connect you to the right people for that. So it really is open to anyone who's interested in any aspect of wildlife. You don't necessarily need to be in the wildlife biology department or even in Warner. It's really open to anyone who likes wildlife.
Yeah, we get graphic design majors, we get our majors, business majors. Anyone who's interested, is come by our meetings and check us out. You'll learn something, you'll meet people. You don't have to make wildlife your entire life and future. We just want, to educate people, and we want everyone to appreciate it.
Yeah, it sounds like a very well-rounded group that you have people from all over. How did you two get involved with it, or kind of where did your passion for wildlife come from?
Yeah, for me, I've always been in and around zoos ever since I was like a little baby, visiting them, and then growing up and volunteering and working in them. And when I got here to CSU, I just showed up at the first meeting, my very first semester here, and I think I've been to every single meeting since. I was a coffee table manager before I became president, and I've been to as many opportunities as possible, and I've gotten a lot of meaningful experiences and made a lot of meaningful relationships out of it, and I just stuck with it, and it's been great.
Yeah, so I guess my intro to wildlife, I grew up on a ranch outside of Yellowstone, and so just interacted with a lot of animals there, so lots of grizzly bears and mountain lions, and I was just like, yeah, this just makes sense. I want to work with these animals because they're so cool. And so I went to a Wildlife Society meeting the first semester that I transferred here, so I am a transfer student. And then I couldn't go to the meetings because they're on Tuesdays, and I worked every Tuesday. And then last year, one of the nice things about COVID was that my work went online, so I was actually able to run for a position, and I got it, and it's totally changed my life. So.
Great. Yeah. So I know you've kind of, I bet with like Colorado being so close to the mountains and having all these opportunities definitely, like, it definitely makes things easier being here. So kind of what's your goals for this group? Like, what do you hope for the future?
Yeah, for me, primarily, I just want to open people's eyes. A lot of folks, when they start getting into wanting the wildlife career, they think, I want to be a game warden, I want to be a biologist. But there's so much more you can do. There's folks who are out there restoring habitat. There's folks out there who are having to communicate and educate folks. There's people out there who are having to breed and raise a lot of these endangered species in captivity, and these are all paths that they don't think of. And for me, I want to open people's eyes as to what they can do.
Yeah, and I think like specifically being in Colorado, we're trying to get people interested in Colorado wildlife because I think people, are really interested in these big charismatic species like elephants and polar bears, and while they are really awesome and definitely need our help, we have a lot of really cool wildlife here in Colorado and really close to Fort Collins too. So we try to people in that and get them excited about those.
Colorado's definitely a great place to be for all of this. There's a lot going on in our state and especially nearby. What would you say or would you want to recap some of kind of your most recent events and some of the most kind of recent things you're proud of within the Wildlife Society?
Yeah, so I mentioned the scholarship, so I'm really excited about that. That was one of my main goals coming into this position. And we do have, we go raptor monitoring every other Sunday, so we had a outing this past Sunday, and we saw like 7 red-tailed hawks and a bunch of eagles, so that was really fun.
Yeah, going back to raptor monitoring, it's a project that CPW's been running for a multitude of years. Every state park has a group dedicated towards being there and watching raptors, what they're doing, where they are, why they're there. And we have been doing it at Boyd Lake State Park in Loveland for, I think, like 5 years. And we just recently were at the conference at the CPW headquarters in Denver. So we got to meet a lot of folks. We got to meet the new coordinator. That's just one example of us connecting with agencies like that. We are currently planning a bighorn sheep count, which we do every December for CPW, and that's going to be a super exciting opportunity to bring back.
Sounds like, yeah, I feel like based off what we've all talked about, it sounds like there's so much going on with this club and so many great ways for students to get involved. I think that's all the time we have, unfortunately, but thank you so much, Morgan and Remy, for joining us. We have another break coming up, but don't worry, Mattison's got another edition of Who Are You at CSU coming up.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Well, Rams, we've made it to the final part of the show. With fall break starting only a few days from now, students all over campus are getting ready for a well-deserved time to rest. In the spirit of the upcoming holiday season, I went to the plaza to ask students about their favorite traditions and memories. Let's take a look. Hey, Ramley and welcome back to Who Are You at CSU. The fall semester is coming to an end and the holiday season is upon us. So today we are out on the plaza and I'm going to be asking, what is your favorite Thanksgiving or holiday tradition?
My dad is Korean, so we always have to have rice and kimchi at Thanksgiving with everything else.
Probably the smell. When my mom cooks, fills the house.
Probably just playing games after dinner. It is pure chaos and we love it. It's not Thanksgiving without it.
Just getting together with friends and family around the table, and probably turkey and ham.
Probably cooking dressing with my moms and granny.
I always go down to Texas for Thanksgiving to see my mom there. And Texas and Thanksgiving is very awesome. We do a big feast every time we hang out by the pool because it's still warm down there.
My grandma's mashed potatoes.
Every year we go around the table and we always have a big mix of people because sometimes we invite people that don't really celebrate it, so we all just say what we're thankful for and a highlight of our year kind of thing.
And apple pie.
Every year, me and my parents, we go and we home make some noodles, brew them up. It takes a few days and they're delicious. I love it.
I don't know about you guys, but I love hearing about people's holiday traditions. Now, I'm wondering, what is the funniest memory you have from Thanksgiving or the holidays?
Wearing the Santa pajamas in November on a dare is one of them, yeah.
Oh, it's a dare?
Well, also, I just love Christmas and pajamas.
One year I was going to my grandparents' house for Thanksgiving, and I was maybe 6 years old. And they were just putting in their brand new flat screen TV. This is back in the days of CRTV, right? So they're getting rid of that old thing. And little kid me, I go to bed and they're screwing that thing in the wall. And I wake up and I go to my mom in the morning and I say, Mommy, they were screwing really hard last night.
One year I went to Costa Rica to celebrate with my aunt and uncle, and no one there celebrates Thanksgiving, so he kind of just invited the whole community to come, and everyone was very confused when we did the little tradition of going around the table.
I had a classic time during Thanksgiving where our dog got a hold of the turkey, and we didn't have turkey that year, but it was okay because we made up for it with all the other dishes we had.
There was one year that my mom and us were putting up the Christmas tree and everything like that, and she had brought all these new ornaments and everything, and we put up the Christmas tree and we were eating dinner, and then all of a sudden we just hear this big bang and the Christmas tree had fell down and all the ornaments had broke, and her favorite angel had fell just because she didn't put the support on the bottom of the tree. So that was to this day one of the funniest things I think I've seen. Just to see my mom was just I'm not putting that back up.
This one time we went to visit my dad's side of the family in LA. And all of the adults got really drunk and then sang karaoke. That was really fun.
First time I tried Brussels sprouts, they gave them to me when I was 7 after I had filled my stomach with the rest of the food. And sure enough, got pretty sick right all over the table. And that was embarrassing but also hilarious thinking back on it.
We have gotten amazing answers so far, so now to wrap it up, I'm going to ask, what are you most excited for this Thanksgiving break?
I'm really excited to just have a break from classes. I think everyone feels the burnout of this semester coming back, so I think a week off for everyone's going to be super nice. I know it will for me.
Apple pie. And seeing my family, that'll be fun.
Probably going home to see my family in Washington. Yeah, it should be a good time. Haven't seen them in about a year, so.
Going home. I miss my family, just my animals, all my friends, seeing everyone again. Probably be a lot of chaos, but it'll be fun and I'm excited to do that.
I think actually getting to go home and take a break from school for at least a week, that's going to be nice.
Probably just to see family and really just take a break because I know a lot of us are tired and everything, so just being able to relax and everything for once.
Well, Rams, we made it. We're at the end. All those great memories and traditions that everyone mentioned with us made me more ready for break than ever.
Unfortunately, it looks like we're out of time for tonight's show. Although this is it for Humans of CSU this semester, don't worry because tomorrow night CTV will be back with our regular Thursday news broadcast. Thanks for following us on our journey meeting incredible people here at CSU this semester. Good night, Rams.